Good morning, guys. I see people popping in. Welcome to Shaggy's. How's the weekend? Letting some people pop on. We got some invites sent out. Invites sent out. Hope everybody's having a really great morning. We're all getting motivated, getting woke up. It's almost 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central, 7 o'clock somewhere, 6 o'clock for those people that are just waking up. How was your weekend? Haston to the throne. Good day, mate. Hey, I like it. How are you, brother? Nice to meet you. Welcome to Shaggy's, man. Coffee in the morning. We're going to talk some trucking. How's everybody weekend? What was last week like? What are you doing this week? How's the day starting? How's the load boards look? I think they suck. Literally, I was looking this morning and I think they even dropped worse than they were last week. I'm looking on it. I guess it depends where you're at. You ever seen the Midwest look so shitty? In all my time, I feel like I'm in a Twilight Zone at 2008 all over again. um, how's everybody doing? How was your week? What do you guys got planned for this week? We did a webinar last night. It was pretty cool. I did it on Sunday. We're supposed to go from 2 o'clock to like 8 o'clock, and I went till 8:30, which is crazy. Got to stop doing that crap. I went way over. We talked about everything. We talked about trucking, owner operators. We had a couple people in there kind of new. Some people were in there more, kind of overloading with a lot of information. It's like, and you just ask anybody that was in there. Hey, I just wanted to come on this morning and really talk about what you guys are doing in trucking. I don't really have a topic this morning. We just did a webinar, like I was saying. It was really explosive. We talked about trucking. We talked about brokering. We talked about leaving stuff on the table. We talked about why do you be a slave to your niche when your niche isn't working? You know what I mean? Like, if you're in expedited and you can only do so much, switch to something else. We talked about researching carriers and customers and using e-carrier check. It was a pretty good webinar. It took forever. We had 7 people in there. One didn't make it. Should have had 8. We should have had more than that, but it was really full. But a couple of people didn't make it. It's kind of. That's a great question, Haston. Uh, if I was to start an authority right now, the biggest problem I see starting an authority right now, honest truth for anybody, is number one, you really can't afford to spend a lot of extra money, right? Like literally, if you got if you're starting authority right now, I I would definitely, I don't know, like if I was starting authority right now, it'd be hard. Because the reason why it's going to be hard is because people don't want to really do the work, right? So we just want to get on DAT. Like even right now, if I was to take on a new carrier at the dispatch, right? I would literally have to go on DAT and go on e-carrier check and literally just start calling one broker to the next in the area where he's at. And it's like, not only would I have to be able to find if they'll work with me when I'm new because of fraud and all this crazy stuff, hacking and double brokering and stuff like going on, but what I'm concerned, I was teaching last night, it's about the networking. Man, I'd either have to find a customer that'll work with me when I go active and they're out there, or I got to find brokers that'll use me in the first 30 days. And then just because I find the brokers that'll use me in the first 30 days, I need to find brokers that have the freight that's in the area that I need in the first 30 days. Like Jorge said the other night, he made a very good point. So now, literally, before I go active, I have to go to eCarry, check and DAT, and I need to just start banging out the phone and say, "My name's Shaggy. I see you're a broker. I'm going to be having a drive-in the area. If I and the hard part is too is when you're calling the brokers is to get to the right person because half the people that answer the phone are like calling customers anymore, and they're never really the right person. There's somebody that's hired for a job to move freight, and they just follow protocol and they the company policy, which every policy can be changed. But if you don't ever get to the right person to get it changed or to sell your service to with your truck, you're literally in trouble right now because it's a really a free for all, and we're in this big crisis with freight. You know, like not freight, just in general everything. Like you turn on the news, you see things going on. It's a lot of bad stuff happening out there, and it's really not that much fun. So, and a lot of people don't want to communicate as it is. So, and then the other part is when you start out when you new, fuel is 424.11 a gallon before discounts. So there's $2,000 a week. You want 2,500 a week. The company needs 1,000. You got to pay insurance at $300 to $400 a week, maybe five. And then you're going to have to pay a truck payment, a trailer, if you've even did the research to get a trailer and find a person that'll give you one. So if you're doing power only, man, that's even crazier. You know, I had a lady call me the other day and wants 10,000 a week on a new authority power only. You're like, are you drunk? You know what I mean? Like, did you bump your head? Well, they said we can do it. Well, good. Go tell the people that said we can do it to fucking do it. And when they don't do it, come back and tell me why you didn't do it yourself. You know, and so you start thinking about all that. So if I was a new authority now, it'd be hard. And James makes a great point. You know, it's not that you can't do it. It's like you look at when you look at like when you have to come in here and make these calls, right? Like even when James was in here selling, he himself was in here selling. And it's not that you can't find the customers that work with you. They're preventing fraud too. So some might work with you as a carrier when they're new. Some might want a year too. But a lot of times it's not that way. It's more the brokers protecting themselves than the customers because of what goes on, liability and fraud. So, I mean, if you're to bring on an authority, just like when James is trying to run a couple of trucks with us and some of the, and Justin and Don's in there doing it now, including myself, like literally myself, right? Myself. So the problem, and James is a truck driver, right? So James, when he's not running, if James comes in and he starts making these calls, like James made a post yesterday, he's thinking about opening a brokerage. Well, that's great. Hell, I see lots of people open brokerages. It's not opening the brokerage. The hard part, fucking my dog, if he got a social security number, could go and file a bond and get an MC authority. I mean, you know, and freaking do it. But the problem is control, getting people to trust you to use you, having the carriers, and then getting them paid, understanding the aging, understanding how much to charge. Because like if you like with us, you go if your factoring fee is 3%, your quick pay is this, and you make money off the quick pay to cover cargo fee, your cost to move the freight is already 1.9. Then you have a cost to make the rate cons and do stuff. Then you have a cost for your software. Then you have a cost for your insurance and your bond that's added on top of that. Then you divide that over a certain amount of time, and then you take a 10% reserve with a cash reserve to cover the fraud for your customer not paying. You don't make no money for 6 months. What's up, Terry Brown? Yeah, a lot of stuff. A lot of customers want the good ones. They don't even want to see your brokerage for a year. And a lot of the ones that are not good, they send you on an RFP like well, like everybody's calling me. What they can't move freight all the time because it's lumber or mulch or right now you got pumpkins, watermelons. It's all high volume stuff. And unless it's something specialized or you have something, you know, you're in house like this is where you're the main guy for Keen's Farms. You know what I mean? Where you have control of everything. You're just picking up some leftovers even as a broker. It's not fun. And if you don't have a team of people sitting in an office to sit there, or you know, vice versa, to throw loads on and play those games, and you're one man, It's hard. How do you juggle all those hats? But right now, if I was to open a trucking company, like I had a lady in there last night in my webinar, and we were talking to Charity and Matt, and they're talking about starting up. And it's not that Charity can't sell. She's got 2 weeks away from going active. 2 weeks. And I'm like, how many lanes do you have posted? How many brokers have you called and see what they got going on and if they'll use you? And what list have you put them on? And you tell me you're going to get customers, but what are you going to do with them when you get them when you only have one truck? Do you already have relationships with other carriers to help you? I mean, when you walk in here, like you got one truck, do you have any others? I mean, what are you going to do more than the next guy with one truck? Sometimes I don't really need one truck. Then maybe they do. But how do you get them on the, I mean, you're calling so much time to get them on the phone. Are you going to sit there and make 50 calls a day to find that one lead? That's what I'm asking. If you're a new authority, are you going to sit there and call 35 freaking brokers on e-carrier check that have been in business longer than a year that might have the freight that you want located by you and see if they've got lucky and sold to customers you haven't? And ask them to work with you. I get it. You know what I mean? So, like, that's the question today. The topic today in here is if you were to go and restructure your business or you're a new authority coming in, how prepared are you to make those calls and network? I talked to guys. I talked to a guy yesterday in training class. Man, he's been dispatching for 3 years, right? 3 years. And I said, if you call a broker, let's role play in class. What's up, William? Nice to see you. I said, what's up, William? I said, let's role play in class. I said, you got 3 years experience. Tell me, what's up, Yusuf? Tell me, tell me how you call brokers to network or find out about loads. It's funny. And he said, I call and ask for the pickup, delivery, the weight, sometimes the commodity, and then I ask them their target rate. Then we negotiate from there. And I'm like, so you didn't ask before you get to the target rate. You didn't ask how urgent the load is. You didn't ask if they have more of them. You didn't ask if this is the only customer they have. You didn't ask about volume. You didn't ask where they put the loads all the time. You didn't ask, like, there's so many other questions that you can ask when you're booking a load. But see, when we get caught up, and James will even say this too, because I guarantee when he finally started running a truck, he was calling these brokers and immediately you get freaked out because you don't have time to get them to call you because it's now, right? The guy wants to go now. How do I build a lane from Chicago to Indy or from Chicago to Kansas City or Chicago to Minnesota or Chicago to Detroit? Because my guy's got to go now. He needs to move today. So now I'm trying to move him today, but I need to be working for tomorrow. But how do I work today when I do it tomorrow without making a ton of calls? Really? I mean, because once you get moving, you're already out there. So how do you build those lanes when you're already out there? I mean, you could do both, but we don't, right? Why don't we always call it network ed? And when these brokers start telling you about the lanes, right? I find out a lot. When the broker, we have so many carriers out there. Is it that you're scared to call for the customer when you hear about it? Are you scared? Because see, where it works is a broker or a customer reaches out to a carrier or a broker. Once they get set up, they send these lists over of freight. Sometimes it's 3 loads, sometimes it's hundreds of loads, all these different things. So when they send these loads over, the broker has to go for the customer and find carriers. Those are called problems they have to solve. So when you see these problems and stuff, or you hear these brokers call you because they're not getting it covered, no, I'm not saying when the brokers call you it's not cheap freight. I'm not saying it might not be freight you don't want. But when you do hear about the stuff you do want, And the broker's not trying to build a relationship, have volume with you, but that that's the loads you want. And then you go and you research the customer on eCarrier check it. It tells you how big they are. You see all these other mom and pop carriers in there working, and you're like, why don't you make the call? What are you really scared of to ask for the business? My question. How do you restructure your business if you're not willing to do the work? Does that make sense? Like, because we have two problems going on. You're either starting or in the business, and you started and you haven't done anything yet, or or you're in the business like we talked about yesterday, and you're already a trucking company. Like my friend Tony has 18 trucks. The stuff he learned last night in my webinar was like, and now he gets to go restructure. Been listening into the truck, back in the game now. Nice. Post direction. Make time. Go through the emails. Keep refreshing. You get so caught up, you forget about it. So if your trucking business is already active and you have trucks, can you guys that are watching tell me how do you go and restructure when you need to pay the bills? I'd like to know. How do you restructure your business when you're a trucking company? It's running with employees, people, owner operators, bills to pay, trailer payments. How do you take what I need now? How do I restructure for later? Crickets chirping, 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 chirping. Do you hire Hawkeye Dispatch to do it for you? Will he do it for you? I mean, how's he going to do it for you when he has 30 different carriers to do it for that he has? How do you restructure your business when you're already in? You're already behind. Insurance payments coming up in 2 weeks. Truck payments the week after that. And I got 2 trucks sitting, 3 running. I'm driving one. You go to one of these expert dispatching services and have them train you to, I don't know, what do you do? I don't know what you do. Like, what do you do? Besides, do you network? You make more calls? Do you learn how to flip your equipment to other people instead of you paying for it all the time? So, but, right, I get that, Lee or Hawkeye. But why does people make it so hard and don't do it though? That's the question. Like for me today, my goal today is to sit here and call companies for compliance all day. It's one trucking company after the next. How many of those calls that I call about compliance do you think their trucking company is going to come back to the freight market because of their compliance? That's their top concern at the moment. Definitely ain't fixing their authority. Why would we want to do that? We need to make money right now. Isn't that right? What do we do? What are the steps that we should put in place to restructure our company? We went through a webinar last night. We talked about a lot of it. I learned last night I got to go through and fix my pamphlet a little bit to follow along. Once I get it fixed, it'll be a lot better. My hand's itching. I know it's early. I didn't share the video anywhere. They'll do it later. Type in the comments and let me know. Right now in this market, what should a carrier do to be able to get? I mean, if you're going active and you wait till you get your MC and your plates to start networking, how far are you really behind? I mean, I don't know what dispatching service is out there that really has fun taking a new carrier and calling people because like you guys said today, even if you have 40 brokers that use you in the first 30 days, if they don't have no freight in your area, what good is a broker to use you in the first 30 days? And if the freight doesn't match your numbers that you need, then what are you going to do? I'm just asking. If you're a new authority and you're starting out and you're in your first 90 days right now, even if you find three or four brokers that will use you in your first 30 days in this market with the fraud, I mean, go look at C.H. Robinson. I mean, if you look at Navisphere right now and you're in your first 90 days, they're going to give you that first level of freight. Have you noticed it's shit? It's all less than $2 a mile. When you go on there, it says call C.H. Robinson, key this, key that, or whatever. Coyote and CH Robinson and probably every top 35% of the brokers that are out there are probably using the same format because they more than likely they go to TIA and like dry hump each other or whatever they do over there. You know what I mean? They're all on the same page. It's like just because they're enemies, don't think people don't collaborate. So when you're new, without if you're not networking and posting and searching with directions and building campaigns, how will you survive? Sounds like the same old broken record all the time, right? So that's one of the things that we can help with. If you're willing to do the work, let's talk. Sometimes you need help just calling those brokers and hearing a different way to talk to be able to find what you're doing. How many times do you call the network? Do you get past the first guy and go to the second guy that actually knows what he's doing? Just asking. Do you quit on the first call? Are you always looking one way? Do you never pre plan ahead with your trucks because stuff always bad happens? So that way you never have any loads on your desk over there because you're too scared to do anything outside the box. I mean, you don't pre-plan because either if you pre-plan, the previous broker will cancel on you and mess it all up. So you don't want to get more freight than you had. So if a guy has a load for Monday and Friday or Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, are you going out there looking for those loads and doing the first two and then trying to get them all? Oh, I get it. The other way you have to build too, right? What are you doing now to restructure? How are you telling customers and brokers what you need and want on a regular basis so when the ones have the freight you want, they can find you? Are you letting everybody do this for you? These are just things I want you to think about this week while you're starting back out. What is your product? What is your plan? How are you going to restructure it if you're already established and you're in a big old dark hole? And what things should you do right now when you're starting out? I got my MC number. I got my freaking insurance. I got my e-log. I got my freaking trailer. I got my truck. It's paid off. I got everything, man. What am I going to do? Am I going to run a 300-mile radius of where I live and do 200-mile shorties every day? Try to do two to three of them for $600 to make 1,200 a day on 400 miles? Or am I going to try to do one $800 load and eat it? What are we doing? Because six plus six is 12. 200 plus 200 is 4. 12 divided by 4. 12 divided by 4 is what? $3 a mile? Or are you going to do the one for 220 and go and only do 800 because you don't want to do all the work? Are you going to call a whole bunch of brokers to have open pickups and find them in your area? They're between your city and another city, and try to get as many as you can to have one open pickups for that $800 or $1,000 or whatever you can get, so you can keep the lights on? Just topics to think about today. This is the beginning of the week. It's always that ugly day because we got to start it all over again. Another week. Then by Thursday, you'll be like, dang, this place went by fast. It's one of those days where people just don't want to talk. I think we're flying through here. They're like, we've heard it, we've heard it, we heard it. I get that. I start to think we're in a world where people just don't care. It's kind of like Lee said, AI's coming in, things are happening, stuff sucks, low boards are horrible, customers don't want to come off the money, all the above. But as we always say, stores are filled, things are still moving, people are still buying. Hell, we got over $1 trillion of credit card debt, so somebody's still spending money to feed the bills. So, I mean, what other people are suffering are other people's gain. Unfortunately, in this world, I think that's the way it always is, right? It's been about 27 minutes. Today's one of those days where I think everybody's still waking up, tired, gloomy. I'm excited. Let's work. Let's get to work. Let's make some calls. If volume's down and brokers don't have volume to move, then that means customers don't really need the big brokers to help in the first place. So why don't you go assist them yourself? What's stopping you? Is it a rejection of no? Is it that five of them told you they don't need you? But anyways, we had a really great webinar yesterday. It was freaking awesome, man. There was like I said, we got to talk trucking. It was so much fun. I really love talking trucking with everybody. We got to go through software and screens and look stuff up. We did some role playing where I found this guy's broker using, which doesn't really pop on the load board. It's kind of neat. So, anyways, if you guys need help with 101s, you're in a gloomy times, you need some inspiration, need something, you need a little help, need restructuring, stuff you thought was going one way, but it's really not. Set up an in-person, set up 101, give me a call, go to the website. Our next webinar will be September 17th. We're going to do it again. I'm going to tweak it a little bit. Tell you what, it's a long time sitting in that room for 8 hours straight. You know what I mean? And it flew by like that. Let me tell you, it's crazy as heck. Like it flew by. It's like we just started, now it's over. And you're like, man, I got so many more questions. Well, welcome to trucking. You know what I mean? You just have to do it again. Guys, have a really great week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Hope everybody stays positive, proactive, and have faith in your plan. And if you really don't have a 2 to 10 year plan set up and you don't know what trailers are worth or why a brokerage plays in instead of being crooks, and you don't know diversity or the multiple streams of income or what you're doing with your authority or why you're doing it, give me a call. I was explaining the other day how to start an authority using certain things. By the time I was done with it, really my expenses of starting was like this much. But the difference to doing that, for me to do that, I have to understand how to build my product first. Because if I go do it like I was talking about it and I don't have no product, it won't work, right? Kind of crazy. Guys, have a really good day. Like I said, if you guys need compliance help, insurance, training, whatever, just give us a call. We're adding, stacking, and growing. Later, guys. Do you guys have any questions for me first before I go? I always forgot to ask. Trucking, brokering, dispatching, what you should do as a new authority, what you should do as a new broker, why you should be a broker. I'm open. I'll give you like 5 more minutes. I'll stay like because I got work to do today. It's like a Q&A. What should I do? I'll help you out. What do you guys got? Always, and if you guys are following through the video, please like the videos so I know what I'm doing. Leave comments. What's up, Mike? Good morning, Shaggy. I'm out on the grind. That's what we got to do to fight to survive. But definitely like the comments, like the pages, say hello, drop names, whatever. Let me know we're doing a good job. If you guys have any questions about anything at all, let's hit it up. I'm here every morning, drinking coffee with you, getting motivated for my team. What's holding you back from restructuring? Is it money? Is it equipment? Is it trailers? What scares you most about starting your authority right now?